So we're just going to wing it tonight. Good evening, everybody. So thanks for joining us for our weekly team call. Tonight we decided we would take it down a notch and talk about our kind of beginnings and origins on what we want to achieve and where we're going, where our values lie, and then from that, what sort of events do we want to create? So we've had a bit of a buzz in the last few days about creating some events that have a bit of a theme, which is pretty awesome to see the response that we're getting from that. So I think for everyone is in agreement that that's a good way to go. So I just wanted to kick off tonight and ask you a few questions. So number one is, why are you doing this? And we're going to have some interaction with whoever's on tonight. So have a bit of a think about that, of why you're doing this, why you're doing the product, and why you're doing the business. And you can just give me a couple of words. It's not going to be a whole big story, just a couple of words to throw at me of why you're doing this and why not anything else. So if anyone has anything to share straight away, come off mute and fire it at me. Natty, go.
I want to do this so I can impact change and inspire people to take back some control. And I think the last thing that I was doing it for was to sort of improve our lifestyle, but that's now becoming a bit more apparent that that's a big part of it too. So
brilliant. So keep that in mind and think about how you can share that message of why you're doing it with others. Susie?
Yeah, well, for me, it's sort of conference really brought me back full serpent circle to the beginning of why I came into it. I know you were there with the conversation, Dee, and it made me realise that even though, yes, I want the full-time income and everything, but my main number one is community and building community and helping people to, I guess, supporting mostly women with around self-worth and empowering each other and building that sort of safety net for us all, where we can all help raise and bounce each other up when we're not feeling good on our bad days, and you know, jump together and yeah, that's the journey for me. My number one.
Yay, definitely. That's probably my number one too, that community and connection and having that conviction around that. And like you said, Suze, it's definitely come full circle of where we went on this big journey to know where we're going and coming from now, which definitely is community in our team. Does anyone else have anything to share before I move on? No hands up, all good?
Yeah, I guess for me it was originally to bring, well, it is to bring an extra income into the family, but I guess when you actually look at what your vision is to allow other families to have that as well, to allow them to be able to, you know, live their dreams. So, and the reason I started taking the product was because what I was taking wasn't working, and this does. So there you go.
Very good. Thanks, Beck. And I know a little bit of everyone's story in any time always resonates with all of us, so we can take little bits of that. But of course, everyone's why is going to be a little bit different. And I just want to share, as we move along, some little snippets that I've collected along the way. So your why must be so deep in your heart and soul that your heart aches and it propels you forward. So if you don't have a why that's that big yet, you need to get some brainstorming and some journaling happening around that and to find out what that is. Like Linda always said, it's the why that makes you cry. So I like having that extra little bit to it. You know, it's digging really deep, and maybe you've just scratched the surface on, you know, how it makes you feel taking the product. But what is it that makes it so much deeper, which, you know, as you've heard, Susie, after 5.5 years has kind of come to that realization of what it is for her, which is pretty similar to me, which is pretty cool. So you also want to care about people to the point that you can't hear a no, and put them first and ask them what their dreams and goals are. And I know we get told that a lot, have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, so we listen twice as much as we talk. And that's something that we really need to take it back to. rather than just thinking, oh, where can I get my next order, my next dollar, my next team member from, really sitting down and taking the time. Because for some of us, an event could be just meeting one-on-one for coffee. It doesn't have to be a whole event with, 10, 20, 60 people. And we sometimes feel that, oh, we're not doing well enough or we're not doing enough if we've only had one person turn up. But you imagine if you then said, oh, we've only got one of you, sorry, so we'll cancel tonight, and off you go home and we won't worry about it. Imagine the difference in what I know everyone always does is just sit down and connect with that person anyway. So we've just got to love people where they're at and thank them for turning up.
Can I share with that one too, with what you just said, Dee? I don't know if you guys have heard John Holowatty talk about in his beginnings. I'm not sure if he touched on it when he was on stage at conference, but he drove, it was a couple of hours, I think. There was everyone cancelled but this one person. And he went, no, this is what we're doing tonight anyway. And he went along, and that one person that was there at that event was, which you guys won't know anymore, is James Lavelle. And he rocketed John Holowatty's business. He was one of the two that propelled him to the top. So as Dee said, that one person is just as important as if you have a room of 20. And Dee and I have always supported everyone in that. People get really nervous about having a first event because, if you invite people and they don't come or whatever. And we've always gone, doesn't matter. Even if no one shows up, we get to spend the time with you and talk about our plans and goals and visions. But if that one person comes too, that could be the person that becomes your major buddy in this business. And so sorry to hijack.
Not sorry at all. We're sharing. It's what we're doing. That is just so true. And, it's something that we've always stuck to. And sometimes you can lose sight of that, I think. So it's good to get back to that. A big thing, I think, that Susie and I took to conference and away from conference is that it's be about the team. So you've got to every day think about what can I do for my team and for others, so much more than what it can be for yourself. And if you want others' health to be better, help them. If you want others' wealth to be better, then help them. You've got to get your own self out of the way. And the thing with ourselves is we keep popping up in the way, so you keep having to work on that. And each time you do get yourself out of the way, you'll peel another layer back and work a little bit deeper and know, all right, I can stay out of my way for a little bit longer this time, and just moving through that. So it's a continual process, and you're never, ever going to be perfect at it. I know I heard an interview not long ago from Tony Robbins, and he said even after 25 years of getting up on stage, he still gets a little bit nervous and he still has to hype himself up and get into state. And I think that's a good thing, to not get too, blasé about who you're speaking to. You always want to have that little bit of element of nerves to kind of keep you on your game and get into state. So that's a really good thing to remember as well. Feel free to jump in anytime you want to, Susie, because I'm just ad-libbing tonight and we just want to see some value that we can get. Moving on from that.
Dee, can I just add to that then?
Yeah.
I think, a lot of people have fear speaking on Zoom events as well. And, that's something that a lot of us have taken the bull by the horns lately and really conquering that. And, even last night when I thought about what I did, I went, oh, my God, that was so terrible. But when you listen back to what you actually said, it's fine. You feel like you stumble over your words, but other people don't see what's going on in your head. So they just see what comes out. And most of the time you'll be saying the right thing to the right person.
Definitely.
That's so true, Beck. And I call that the SUDS level. It's like as you get a bit either emotional or anxious, it's like these suds come up in our head and bubble up, and you're going 100 miles an hour. And I think the way I always get through it, a technique that I use before I speak on anything, is I just take that really deep breath and just ask, tonight my words are going to come out from the heart and touch the people that they need to touch tonight. And if you sort of have that, like the more you do it, it takes practice too, but it helps you sort of to feel, I guess, that you're doing the right thing. And that's where I think, like, you know, if you're always coming from that intention of the heart and helping people, you can't say the wrong thing. and we're all human, so I think sometimes the more human we are on Zoom events, the more people can relate to us. You know, I did one of the big Girls Just Want to Have Fun's events where there was over 100 people on it, and it was school holidays, and right in the middle of it, Aiden starts running these trucks up and down the trails really, really loud. And I was just like, oh my God, what, right now? He'd been quiet for the whole hour beforehand, and it was right as I started to speak. And I was just like, you know what? This is how mums do business. This is the beauty of what I get to do, you know. I have my bloopers in the background. So, and it is, I think it's just being real and speaking from the heart. But yeah, it can be when you're first doing it, still, as you said, Tony Robbins still gets nervous and we always second guess ourselves. And yeah, but no, you spoke beautifully last night, Beck.
Definitely, you rocked it.
Yeah.
And that's it too, you know, when you, like they say, feel the fear and do it anyway, and you just get yourself out of the way and go and do it, and you go back and you go, oh, geez, I actually did a really good job at that. So big mental high five and pats on the back for you, Beck, for doing awesome. And I think such an amazing response we got out of that teachers event. So if you don't know what we're talking about, you don't know, didn't get onto it, there's a recording just come up. Hopefully that's going to be loaded up into probably Team YOLO Down Under or somewhere pretty soon, where you can go back and check that out, because it's a really good one to share with anyone in that education industry. So part of what we're kind of nutting down tonight is getting down to, you know, what drives you, what are you here for, why are you doing this business? And from that, then you can go away and start to think about, oh, okay, what type of events do I want to run? And I know Sharon, who's on the call tonight, has had a bit of a turnaround with that in the last couple of months of like, oh, I've got to be like everyone else. I've got to do it like this. And she sat down and went, no, I'm just going to have an afternoon where we just sit down and we talk about it. We share stories. We talk about Juice Plus. That's what we're here for. And off we go. And it was a roaring success. And we're still following up with people from that and getting orders, which is awesome. So that's what we're all about, is doing it. Yeah, I know.
Sorry, can I just jump in?
You can, Sharon.
I just wanted to say that I remember one of the first Zooms I was on, and Candy, I think it was Candy, that said you can't say the wrong thing to the wrong thing to the right person.
Yeah.
And I think the more that I have conversations with people, the right people are getting the message. So I'm not actually saying the wrong thing, if that makes sense.
Yes, definitely. And that's what you just got to keep at the back of your mind. Like, it comes back to, like Susie said, I think when you lead from the heart, you're not going to say the wrong thing to the right person. And if you just keep drip feeding and doing it, you know, following up after your events is definitely the way to go, rather than blah, all over everyone. So well done to you, and I look forward to catching up with more of your people in the near future. So yay, let's keep that moving to that momentum. Let's keep that working in a way that works for you. So if it's an event that you've found that works, like I know Natty has really good success with, you know, inviting people around her kitchen table and talking about raw treats and wellness, and having the kids all run around in the backyard, and, you know, talking a bit about oils with her other friends and stuff as well. So perhaps collaborating, if you've got somebody else you know in a business that resonates with you, is getting together and doing a couple of presentations in one kind of sitting, which is pretty cool to do as well. So moving on from that, I just wanted to add also that the number one thing that we need to master in our business is adaptability. So there's no one script for one conversation. We can't roll out the same thing we say to everybody. And it's by using those two ears and closing your one mouth that you're going to listen to what they say and be adaptable on how you talk and speak in any situation. So yes, we do have scripts and we do have verbiage that we can learn from, but it's about using that and perhaps even practicing it at home, looking at yourself in the mirror and be your own worst critic or your best critic, and learn so that it kind of rolls off your tongue when you're speaking to somebody about their kids, or when you're speaking to somebody about their, you know, older parents, you know, that you can weave in to that conversation something that suits that situation, but in the way that's right for that time. You're not just making stuff up. And that probably does come a little bit with a bit of practice, but the more you practice and the more we do it here in this situation, then you're going to get better at it as well. So adaptability, put that in your book, write it down.
Can I just answer that one, Dee?
Sure can.
Yeah, completely agree. And I think that's something I've been learning more recently, and I think Linda says it a lot too. Ask better questions, ask good questions. And again, that's going to come with time and practice too. And it's something I haven't really been focusing on. Like, I'll listen well, but asking better questions is definitely something I want to focus on, and really getting down deep and finding out what that person's pain is, so I know how to help them, whether it is their health or their finances, or, you know, they just need that little bit of extra income. It's just, yeah, better questions, ask better questions.
While we're talking with those questions too, I don't know why, I must be for one of you guys here, but when you're getting objections, and people can say something like, it's too expensive. And what we would naturally do is go, oh, well, it's not if you get these juices and you juice all this and you have all this mess and blah, 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 and it's really, you know, but to just, again, ask that question, well, what are you actually comparing it to? Because one, that tells them that you've just listened to what they've said. And two, you actually are getting the information you need then to see I'm comparing it to the multi I have in my cupboard at home. Okay, where do you get that multi from? Oh, I can see why you'd think this is so expensive then if you're just getting a supermarket multi. You don't get where I'm going with that? So, or if they're, you know, comparing it to some, you know, but you're getting the information where you can then keep asking questions as well. So I don't know why that little example popped into my head, but
you're listening.
Is that sorry,
Kelly,
I jumped in. Sorry. No, I was just going to say, is that kind of like the open questions instead of the closed questions? You know, you're getting the more information because you're asking the opening questions. Isn't that a marketing thing?
Definitely. So you don't want people just to be able to say yes or no to whatever you've asked. Yeah. So you're getting to know them. Yeah. Brilliant. Yes. Did you have something to add, Kelly?
I was just thinking that, you know, since conference, and it was something Linda said, I can't remember if it was actually at conference or on a Zoom after conference, but I did 22 invites for the teachers thing the other night, and I got 7 yeses, and on the night it ended up being 3, but, you know, the 4 others are waiting. Each invite that I sent out, I actually thought about the person and made the message personal, and it did take me longer. It was a pain in the ass, but I thought about each person and how it would suit them, whether I wanted them to look at the product or the business, and tailored it to them. And every intention I've put out since conference has got, you know, the kind of response that I was after, rather than just going for numbers. I've actually stopped and, you know, put a bit of love into it and put it out to the people that I really think it will do something for in health or wealth. And I'm trying to lead with the business first, obviously, because I'm trying to build some team. But listening to the people that are struggling and listening to the people who have got their husbands away, and, you know, tailoring it to what's going to actually help them, rather than just, oh my God, you should do this, it's amazing. Actually, yeah, tailoring it to what's going to actually help them.
On that point too, the way you go, like you girls were talking about the different events on the thread last night, and I think it would really work if we can get that list happening of the different events that you want to do. And so that way, Kel, because like it's brilliant, you put in the love and care and thought about it. But if you know, okay, we've got a FIFO event coming up in 3 weeks' time, I won't invite them to this event. I'll wait till that one because that will be more relevant to them rather than, you know.
And that way too, you can build the relationship rather than just hitting them up for an invite.
Yeah.
You can take a few weeks to build that relationship.
Yeah. And that's, you know, it's one of the biggest things I've seen on the women's business groups that I'm in when they start. There's, you know, some threads will start having women in traditional business will start sort of dissing network marketing. And the stuff that you actually read of what they're upset about is usually that someone's just gone gung-ho, recontacted them after not speaking to them for, you know, since high school, which is, I won't tell you how many years that is for me. And they go, let's catch up for a coffee. And then they vomit their business all over them through the coffee. The person says, whoa, get back, I've got garlic in my purse. And then they never contact them again. So to me, it's like, I guess for me going slower in the business is because I love and care about all of my relationships in my life, whether they be like full friendships or whether they're just acquaintances. I still care about my acquaintances and those people in my bigger circle just as much and don't want to be that person. And yeah, unfortunately, there's been so much of that out there on social media that we need to be the difference. We need to be that, you know, the caring and loving and really cherish all of our friendships, whether they want part of our business or not, because, you know, it doesn't, and the no, as Linda always says, a no is not always a no. It can just be a no, not now. And if you leave that door open and keep cherishing and loving on that friendship, then you never know what will happen. 2 years, Kelly Tillman.
I know.
I push on you back then. Like, I'd never want you out of my life anyway. You're always going to be always a part of my life. But could you imagine if I had gone a mega hard push on you back then when you weren't ready and you just would have gone?
I know. A slap in the face might have helped.
We
could have been NMDs
but I cherished
now.
our friendship way too much to slap you in the face.
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Very good. So that then brings me back to our values. And I know we have some pretty big values high up in the heart space in this team. So I hope you've all brought your pen and paper because I'm going to get you to write down some questions. So these are some questions that I want you to go away and think about and ask yourself so that you can begin to form your top values. Now you might have 100 values, and then I want you to sort it out and find your, say, top 10, nut that down to your top 5. And if you're not living in at least your top 3 to 5 values, what can you do to change that? So are we all ready? Pens poised. What's around you? So what's in your surroundings? What's around you on a daily basis? These are going to be quick questions. Number 2, how do you spend your time? So that could even come down to a bit of a time audit. Number 3, how do you expend your energy? What things light you up to expend your energy? So optional to write down the other stuff that I'm saying after I say the first question. I'm just adding a bit so it's clearer on which question it is I'm talking about. So number 4, how do you spend your money? Number 5, where are you most organised in your life? Come on, ladies, there's got to be somewhere. Could be the lunch boxes or the laundry pile.
not the
Susie,
laundry
I'd say
pile.
that's the freezer. Susie's freezer's immaculate usually, with things stacked up with labels and stuff. I know, I cleaned it out.
Jealous.
Number
Not
6.
at the moment. It needs a rebuild after the move. I was just like doing lunches tonight going, no, I've got nothing.
Okay, number 6, where are you most reliable? And this is in any area of your life too, so don't just think about it as a mum or as a worker or as whatever. 7, what dominates your thoughts? What comes up without even thinking about it? What pops into your head that you keep ruminating on? Which then leads to number 8. What do you visualize most? Is it something good? If not, maybe you need to change that. You know, when we visualize, the more we deliberately visualize and bring something in, the more it then becomes that subconscious habit. Number 9, what do you often talk to yourself about? Come on, we all do it. It's that first sign of madness, isn't it? And yes, you hear my husband in the background pretending to be mad.
Quiet in the cheap seats, Benny.
Yeah, quiet in the cheap seats out there. Number 10, what do you often talk to others about? What stuff bloats out without you even thinking about it? Yes, we are crazy Juice Plus people. Thank you, husband. Number 11, what inspires you? Number 12, what are your personal goals that are constantly there? They're just always there. That's always a goal, always on your list. What are your personal goals that are constantly there? Number 13, what do you want? Yes, it's school holidays here. Kids are still trying to go to sleep. Number 14, does humanity need to do anything to help you achieve your vision? So does humanity, the world, that outside distraction, need to do anything to help you achieve your vision? I'd say that one should be a no, but that's just my opinion. We're there to help ourselves. Number 15, what are people already doing to achieve? So look outside your circle. Those that are achieving, what are they doing?
Say that one again, Dee.
What are people already doing to achieve what they want to achieve? Number 16, what do you need to change? And lucky last, number 17, pick 3
Sorry, Dee. I missed that. After the what are people already doing to achieve what they want to achieve? What was the one after that? Sorry.
What do you need to change about yourself or what you're doing?
Thank you, love.
My pleasure. So number 17, pick 3 advisors, past or present, from anywhere in the world. So 3 mentors, 3 people you look up to. That's going to form part of your 5 people you surround yourself with. So those 3 advisors or mentors could be Tony Robbins, it could be Jim Rohn, it could be Eric Worre, it could be your mum, it could be a dog, who knows? What are their values and what is their why? You like that, Kelly? You're going to go and ask your dog or your chickens?
Yeah, we got a new rooster. I might go ask him.
Definitely. I'm sure he's full of knowledge at 5 a.m.
He's a little illiterate on time.
Great.
You still haven't seen that rooster, Kel?
The big blue cock. He's up there parading around somewhere.
Alrighty, so you've got your 17 questions. You may have added a little bit more, like I added as well. So what that's going to do when you write that out is form how you choose your values. Yeah, it might take a little bit of time, but nothing ever good was built in a hurry. You know, like they say, Rome wasn't built in a day. So we're here for the long haul. Our hashtag team is longevity. So take the time to write these answers out and then start looking at where your values are. You might even want to separate them into work values, family values, hobby values, money values. That's always a big one. So does anyone have any questions around any of that?
No.
Good. So that's your homework. I really want you to do it. You don't have to post your answers, but I want you to start thinking about those values that you come up with. Then where does that sit in yourself and in your business on an event that you can put together that's going to work in your highest values? Because then, as we've talked about already for the last half an hour, that's where the heart comes in, and that's where you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. So on that note, we are going to stop recording and get to work on answering those questions. And thanks for joining us.